Welcome to the OLV Daily Reflection for Friday, August 14th. Today, the Universal Church celebrates St. Maximilian Kolbe. He is born on January 8, 1894. St. Maximilian's life was strongly influenced by a vision of the Blessed Mary that he had at the age of 12. He would later describe this vision as follows. Quote, "That night I asked the Mother of God what was to become of me. Then she came to me holding two crowns, one white, the other red. She asked me if I was willing to accept either of these crowns. The white one meant that I should persevere in purity, and the red that I should become a martyr. I said that I would accept them both." Unquote. He would eventually join the Conventional Franciscans, which is a religious community that was founded by St. Francis of Assisi. After years of formation with this community, he was ordained a priest in 1918. And throughout the next 22 years of his life, he taught in seminaries, served as a missionary in Asia, worked as a publisher, and even started a radio station. Given all these different experiences, you can see that St. Maximilian always considered evangelization to be the heart of his life and ministry. He wanted to share the good news of Jesus Christ to all he encountered. So that was what he did and how he was operating up until the time that World War II broke out. When that event happened, St. Maximilian was living in a monastery that he helped to start in Poland. And he and his brother monks organized a temporary hospital. And after the town was captured by Germans, he was arrested by them on September 19th, 1939, but was eventually released on December 8th. He refused to sign a list which had given him rights similar to those of German citizens because of his ethnic German ancestry. His father was a German and his mother was Polish. So again, he refused to accept that privilege. And then once he was released, he continued to work at his monastery, again, where he and his brothers sheltered refugees from Poland, which also included 2,000 Jews during the time that they were operating. However, all that ended on February 17th, 1941. The monastery was shut down by the German authorities, and that day, St. Maximilian and four others were arrested by the Gestapo and were imprisoned. And then eventually, on May 28th, he was transferred to Auschwitz as prisoner 16670. While at Auschwitz, St. Maximilian was subjected to violent harassment, including beatings and lashings, but he continued to act as a priest and strive to take care of those who were imprisoned with him. At the end of July 1941, a prisoner escaped from the camp, which led one of the Nazi commanders to do a cruel punishment on the prisoners. He selected 10 men to be starved to death in an underground bunker so that other people would be deterred from escaping. When one of the 10 men cried out, "My wife, my children," St. Maximilian volunteered to take his place. He volunteered to go down and be starved to death. And according to an eyewitness, St. Maximilian led the prisoners in prayer. Furthermore, each time the guards checked on him, he was standing and kneeling in the middle of the cell and truly was looking peaceful to all who entered. After the other captives had been starved and deprived for water for 2 weeks, only St. Maximilian remained alive. The guards wanted the bunker emptied, so they decided that they would give St. Maximilian a lethal injection of carbolic acid. It was said that St. Maximilian raised his left arm and calmly waited for the deadly injection. He died on this day, August 14th, and the next day, August 15th, the Feast of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary, was the day that he was cremated. In honor of St. Maximilian Kolbe, the church gives us the following gospel reading from the 19th chapter of St. Matthew's Gospel. And though it seems to be a strange fit, the ending of the selection gives us an insight into his life and also reminds all of us of what we have to do with our own lives. So the gospel passage reads, Some Pharisees approached Jesus and tested him, saying, Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for any cause whatever? He said in reply, Have you not read that from the beginning the Creator made them male and female and said, For this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh? So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what God has joined together, man must not separate. They said to him, Then why did Moses command that a man give the woman a bill of divorce and dismiss her? He said to them, Because of the hardness of your hearts, Moses allowed you to divorce your wives. But from the beginning it was not so. I say to you, whoever divorces his wife, unless the marriage is unlawful, and marries another commits adultery. Jesus' disciples said to him, If that is the case of a man with his wife, is it better not to marry? Jesus answered, Not all can accept this word, but only those to whom that it is granted. Some are incapable of marriage because they are born so. Some because they are made so by others. Some because they have renounced marriage for the sake of the kingdom. Whoever can accept this ought to accept it. So this gospel passage begins with a question about divorce by the Pharisees, but it ends with Jesus pointing out the importance of vocation in each of our lives. Each of us must seek where God is calling us to serve in the world, whether as a married person, a single person, or for some of us, like St. Maximilian Kolbe, to serve as a religious who renounce marriage for the sake of the kingdom. And none of these three vocations or way of living the world are better than the other. Each of them has their own blessings, each of them has their own challenges. However, it is clear that God can do amazing things through people who live out their vocation to the fullest. St. Maximilian Kolbe, as someone who gave up marriage for the sake of the kingdom, gave his life in place of a husband and father, so that this man could live out his vocation. So the witness of St. Maximilian is one of following Christ wherever he was led, even unto death, making self-sacrificing love the primary driver of his life. So again, that example is one for all of us. So no matter what state of life we're in, what vocation we're called to, we need to make sure that we live it out in such a way that we give honor and praise to God through the actions and words of our life. And today we have an amazing saint to meditate on and to truly call us to make sure that we're dedicating the entirety of our lives to Jesus Christ. I hope and pray that all of you have a blessed day. St. Maximilian Kolbe and Our Lady of Victory, pray for us.